Hey, welcome to Bears Banter. I end up getting the intro videos confused. I must have read about this, okay?
You did. I was like, wait a minute. I start grooving, then I'm like, wait. Now it's like, yeah. It's all good though.
I hit the outro video first. Hey man, Jay. Hey, good luck on that project you was talking about, man.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
that. That's inspirational, man.
Trying to move forward.
Mm-hmm. You know, I was sitting up here and I was looking at some of these games this week, and I know tonight we got a game with who is it? The Broncos.
The Broncos and the Chiefs.
What's the score on that game?
It's 3-0 right now in the second quarter. The
3-0
Chiefs up by 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So uninspired. This is one of them Thursday night games. Even though it's the Chiefs, it's so uninspiring. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Is Kelsey out? Because I saw something.
No. Kelsey playing. He actually had the first 3 catches, I think, from Mahomes, and one of them went for like 40 yards. So ain't nothing wrong with Kelsey. And I just hate it because Taylor Swift up in the booth just clapping it. I'm just like, okay, I'm so over it right now.
Right. This year has been a strange year, Jay, to me, because I was like kind of looking at some of the teams, and for example, looking at Joe Burrows, I know he has a kind of injury he kind of battling through, but that team is struggling, man. It looks out of sync. I know they went on a winning streak last year, but they look out of sync.
Well, I think with Cincinnati, with Burrow's injury, they're gonna be okay. Because they actually won a game last week that I didn't think they was gonna win, but they're gonna be okay. And what we fail to understand is it's still early. Even we can look at it like, man, it's week 5. Well, is it? Oh no, it's actually week 6. But it's still early. Just like Detroit, for example, I think they went 1-7 last year and then won the remainder of their games. So it's still early. It's still early. You got a lot of teams struggling. Buffalo, look at Buffalo. People had them in the Super Bowl this year, but they done lost a couple of games where people scratching their head like, wow, Buffalo lost. So it's still the NFL, and it's still any given Sunday.
Yeah, because you look at teams like Buffalo. What I'm not seeing is I kind of seem like Josh Allen is kind of flatline, and where he's kind of regressing, where he's kind of still throwing those same interceptions that he was throwing 2 years ago.
And I think the thing with Buffalo and Josh Allen is they play to their level of competition. And a lot of NFL teams do that. They play to their level of competition. But what they fail to understand is, like I just said, it's the NFL. And any given Sunday, you can't be beat.
Right.
Who was that lost last week? And I was just like, oh my God. Baltimore.
Yeah.
They had Pittsburgh beat. And then what happens? Lamar Jackson throws a crucial interception, which was a bad play call, if you ask me. On the goal line, I still say on the goal line, teams are going shotgun and all this stuff. And it was a bad play. Joey Porter Jr. wind up intercepting it. Welcome to the NFL, rookie.
Right.
But it was a bad play. It was a bad play call. You going shotgun on the goal line, and your wide receiver don't have no room for separation, and then you throw into a spot now. You throw into the pylon. But if your wide receiver don't beat that cornerback, it's an interception, which wind up happening. And so, again, it's still early. The only team that I see right now is elite is the 49ers. And I like the 49ers because they fun. I like fun teams.
Yeah.
And I said that last year. The 49ers are just a fun team to watch.
Yeah.
So But
Yeah,
again, it's
that
still early.
team is clicking on all cylinders, Jay. It right now, I mean, I know it's still early, but it looks like they can't do no wrong.
Hey, I could put you at quarterback on the 49ers team right now. And they're gonna be clicking. That's just how good. That's just how good the team is. Anybody can quarterback that team. And I put out a message on Facebook saying Brock Purdy is the truth. And people were like, well, yeah, he got the pieces around him. Yeah, but you still got to be able to complete the passes. And I watched the entire 49er game last week, and I watched him operate in the pocket. And I'm just like, wow, this dude got it. This dude got it. Because they're not asking him to win the game. They asking him to manage the game, and he's a great game manager for the skill position players that they got on their team.
Jay, I agree with that because when you watch him play, he seems very calm. And usually, I always say with most rookies, I know that was last year for him. You should get like maybe 2 or 3 good games where if they worth anything, you're gonna get it. And then somewhere about the 4th game or 5th game, it all crashes down on them. But that didn't happen to Brock Purdy.
Nope.
It didn't happen to him, man. And it could just be that some people just got it, and then the amount of experience he had. I know he stayed in college 4 years. That made a difference in his experience level. How long we have right here?
Absolutely.
The Eagles have a good team as well.
The Eagles have a good team. Yeah.
Yeah, they sure do.
And guess what? The Eagles ain't played their best ball yet. They ain't even played their best ball yet. The Eagles have not played their best ball yet. And they are a team to be reckoned with. And it's going to be nice to see the 49ers and the Eagles whenever they meet. Because to me, right now, those are the 2 best teams in the NFL. I put San Francisco at number 1. I put the Eagles at number 2. And I put the Chiefs at number 3.
Okay, man, Jay, you we might as well 2 for 2. Yeah, I know we haven't did 2 for 2 this year.
All right, we ain't did that in a minute. I forgot about that.
I forgot about it. But, Jay, I did have those as my 2 best teams. I had the 49ers and the Eagles. Oh, let me go back. Thank everybody who's watching tonight, Bears Banner. Guys on a trip, he's out there. Y'all mind enjoying the weather. See you when you get back. Plank is out doing something with the children. And I know Mike out there refereeing the game. So tonight it's going to be me and Jay holding it down. Okay. Hey, Jay, my 2 bottom teams are the Panthers and the Cardinals. That's my bottom 2.
And I can it's 2 for 2. I can agree with you there. Because guess what? I want the Panthers to be unsuccessful. Because we got their draft pick. So I need them to be unsuccessful. I need no. Maybe we should have taken Carter. I understand that, Homer, but guess what? No, we shouldn't have, because I admire Poles for admitting that the team wasn't ready for that. We don't have the leadership to possibly handle what could have happened. And I'm telling you, I watched Jalen Carter these first 5 games, and he is wrecking shop. He's wrecking shop. But to balance that out, Homer, we did take a future right tackle that we got that's been very impressive. Because Darnell Wright pancaking people. So, did we need the 3 technique? Absolutely. But did we need a right tackle to protect our quarterback? We needed that too. So it balances out. That's the only thing I can say about that.
Hey, Jay, that's one of the tough parts about looking at something like this, is because one thing historically we know is players who are kind of like on a fringe of maybe kind of get in trouble or kind of hard to discipline, those players could be very disruptive when the team is not winning, for sure. And we just saw that in Claypool. I mean, there might be some other issues, but
good point.
Players who have issues are harder to coach because when they start losing happen, they don't want to go through that losing. And you do definitely got to have an infrastructure in place for those players to definitely, when it is, you're in rebuilding. So that's why even sometimes when the Bears right now going through this, kind of the second stage of this rebuild, sometimes you do have to let some players go because they don't want to go through that. Even some of the veteran players, I know sometimes the fans will look at and say, why did they let this player go? I know, like, for example, people keep talking about David Montgomery, but David Montgomery pretty much made it clear. He actually said when he got to Detroit, I really didn't want to go through the losing.
I got tired of losing. And
Yeah.
what fans need to understand is some of these players haven't lost in their careers.
Yeah.
They haven't lost in their lifetime. You know, like Jalen Collins went to Georgia.
Yeah.
He ain't used to losing.
Right.
Claypool went to Miami and then got drafted by Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh Tomlin ain't had an under 500 season of his 15 years there. So when players are used to winning, when they get on the team and the losing takes over, they don't know how to handle that.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a special individual. And that's why I say the thing about Justin Fields. Justin Fields lost 2 games in college.
Mm-hmm.
He's what, 5-20 something in the pros? You know, it takes a strong individual to be able to sustain mentally and physically what they look like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jay, I also kind of feel what you're saying about, we go into the Bears talk. As far as we say Justin Fields, I was kind of thinking that was part of the issue too. Dealing mentally with the losing and actually struggling to get his job done. I mean, a lot of times when people are that gifted as an athlete and been in winning environments, and most of the time the winning was caused because of them. You know, they was the reason their high school team won. They was the reason they Pee Wee or Pop Warner football team won. Okay, college, it was more of a shared experience. Then when they get to the pros and you kind of come into something like this, and you actually, your talent is not taking you to just achieve, right? It is taking you to this point, but now it becomes hard work. And so
then you become the face of the franchise.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now you got that weight on your shoulder as well. Mm-hmm. And when you're not winning, the fans don't care about what your college experience was. You know what the whole thing about Ohio State quarterbacks ain't never been good in the pros. You know, so the fans don't care nothing about that. But they have to understand that these guys are real players. They are real people, and things like losing when they're not used to it, it affects them.
Yeah, because I'm looking at him play now, the last 2 games, he looks more comfortable and he looks more like, I had said at one point, Justin Fields needs to make up his mind that he's going, I think I even said this, that he's going to be here. And I know that sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, we've seen it. Some of these, the youth that come through now, they're not used to struggling either, right? Maybe that first Pop Warner team they got on, they wasn't a starter. Their parents transferred them to somewhere else. They go to college, and if they had to compete, they just use the transfer.
Right? I just go somewhere else.
Go somewhere else. Now they get to the NFL, and you hearing people, and it doesn't help. Like I'm talking about Justin Fields, where you see national media people that saying stuff like, "Hey, he needs to get out of there," and you can't say that don't affect them, right? They claim they don't listen to it. They're listening to some of that stuff, and he might have been. I'm just speculating. I don't know. He might have been in the back of his mind thinking too, man. Yeah, I do need to just get out of there, man. It's just the pressure of it. It's rough. Being a quarterback in Chicago, being a quarterback in New York, that's
being a quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah,
being a quarterback in the NFL, because the NFL is unforgiving. It's like people be so ready to move on to the next person. Like right now, people talking about the Bears draft Caleb Williams, and it's just like, wait a minute, whoa, wait a minute. So now y'all want to restart the clock and set everything all over again. Mm-hmm. I just feel, and now I'm finna go into something else different, but I feel like the Bears are in a really good position. If Bernard is so much because the whole Eberflus thing, everybody talking about firing Eberflus and all these things. I have compassion because to me, I don't count last season against Eberflus
Mm-hmm.
because Ryan Poles came in here and broke down everything. He traded their best two defensive players. So we knew we was on a losing track. We knew going into last
Mm-hmm.
season. We talked about it all last year.
Mm-hmm.
We knew going in that it was going to be a losing season. But to me, I can't count that towards Eberflus. Is it on his record? Absolutely, because he's the coach. But he didn't have the proper personnel to actually compete. And the thing of
Mm-hmm.
what I like about Eberflus is, as bad as the Bears were last year, they competed.
Yeah.
And that's what started this year off so bad because it looked like they went through the whole offseason. And I'm just reiterating stuff that we didn't say. They came into this whole offseason like, oh, yeah, we good. We're going to be all right. Ain't nobody practicing. And then they didn't look prepared. So now
Yeah.
Eberflus looks bad coming off of 3-14 season. And now you go 0-4. And it's like, okay, this ain't the guy.
Yeah.
But I think what happened is Luke Getsy finally said, okay, you know what? Let me take the reins off and let this kid play. And that's what's been the difference over the last 2 weeks. Even though we lost that Denver game, the last 2 weeks, you see there's a difference in the offense. You know, last week when they came out on the first play, they went bomb to Mooney. I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. Just open it up and
Yeah.
let these guys play. Let them play.
Yeah, yeah, Jay, very valid points. I believe you had made the comment that when Justin made the comment, he was just saying, "Hey, y'all just talking too much, just giving me too much." And I had to think about what you said, Jay, and it made so much sense because I had to think about from where I hear other NFL players talk about what happens sometime in the helmet, and and since you kind of like, I think they was coaching him like. He don't quite get it all yet, so you overhelp him, right? Where you's like, okay, this is the play. They called in two plays. Then what they was doing was, we're not trying to complicate it for him, so you're not bringing nobody in motion. And I have been saying, Jay, for the longest, how do he know what coverage they in if they don't go in motion? So they're going up there probably calling two plays. Then they don't have nobody going in motion at first. And then they probably trying to tell him if this guy does this,
If
we
this
going
guy do this, then we're going to do this. If this guy do this, then we're going to do this. But make sure you watch out for the safety because the safety may walk up. But if he don't walk up, then he might back up. And you got to make sure now he going into a couple. And it's almost like call the play and let me decipher it at the line.
exactly.
I don't
Exactly.
need no extra. Let me call you. You give me the play. Let me
Mm-hmm.
call the play. And then let me read it from left to right.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's
That's
it.
it.
It's too. Sometimes they overcomplicate things, and that's what messed these quarterbacks up a lot of times.
Yeah,
Peyton Manning said it. Peyton Manning said it a couple of weeks ago. He was like, "This is too much information. They giving these guys too much information.
mm-hmm.
Let them call the play and let them run the play, and then we'll see what happens."
Yeah. They
Michael
smart
Coach Jesse
enough to
did
get
like
there. They smart enough. They got there to the NFL to play this, and at a certain point, like you say, hey, just open it up and just let them play. I see a Facebook user say Justin was saying Nagy did that in his helmet. He micro coached Justin. He didn't like it. Yeah, because it kind of almost. I don't know if you ever been on like a manager who. I mean, just think about it as a personal way.
micromanage.
Management, it gets on your nerves. You know, you're like, man, I know how to do this. Why are you
Right,
why are you
right.
telling me this? Right? Like, make sure you do this. And but you're like, okay, could you
And a
just
lot of times you know how to do it. A lot of times you know how to do it better than they do. They
right?
just your manager. They've never even did the job.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of them things where it's like, okay, tell me what you want me to do, and I'll do it. I don't need no micromanagement. And it's funny that he say that because 670 The Score has a pro scout that worked for the Bears when Nagy was there, and he talked
Oh yeah,
about how Mitch was one of those players where, and they talk about Justin too. They say Justin was like one of the smartest people that they knew when it comes to the whiteboard. But they
right.
said Mitch was so smart on the whiteboard, but when he got in the game, he couldn't comprehend everything that was being thrown at him. So it's one of them things where it's just like y'all over the NFL has become, it's because it became an offensive passing league.
Mm-hmm.
They overcomplicate everything. And it's still, no matter it's 1920, 1980, 1990, 2020, 2023, it's still football. It's
Yeah,
still
it's the
football.
yeah. You sitting up there talking about you call the play, then it's I'm just making up some stuff. Then it's a 45Z, Lion North. I'm just making up crazy stuff, right?
But it's too much. It's too
It's too
much.
much. You know
It's
what?
too much.
And then you know what the different coverages are, and based off the formation, if this guy in the zone, you know where he's going to go. So you're trying to analyze this, and I kind of suspect what they. I wish Christian was on here because he could help me explain this better. But I think basically what they did was, okay, this is what we just need you to do. You just go check out the coverage, and we just want you to just look at the numbers. Just work your numbers, which whatever you feel when you go to the line. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. But we need you to shift through them fast. Don't worry about what the defensive players do when you going through there. It's real simple. Just go look at your 2. If you feel that's first, look at your 2. Go to your 1. Go to your 3. Whatever your read is, don't worry about what the defense doing. If it's there, throw it.
And
And
see,
I think that makes it simple.
I've always been under that thing where my high school coach had always told us it ain't no number one read.
Mm-hmm.
When the quarterback get the ball, you look at who's open.
Yeah.
You go through your progressions, but you gonna come out the huddle with a preconceived notion like this is my first read. That's who I'm throwing to. No.
Mm-hmm.
When you come out the huddle, you survey the defense, and whoever is open, that's who's open. I don't care who it is. I just need you to get the ball to an open player.
That's all. That's all,
And
Jay.
that's the thing that they do right now. They like, well, he went to his first progression and he wasn't there. He went to his second. No, throw the ball to who's open.
That's
throw
it,
the ball
Jay.
to who's open.
Jay, it's so. I mean, I know I want to say it's simple, like I played quarterback, but some of the stuff is more simple than right. The NFL had made it. Guess what? You go to the line and you got DJ Moore, and this guy is playing him 10 yards out back. DJ Moore is open as soon as you get the snap. You look at him, he look at you, and this is about to be a hit.
That's it. That's it.
That's it.
Pitch and catch. Pitch and catch. That's it.
Yep. And
That's it.
Then I look and I look at DJ Moore. This guy is actually playing. It depends on how he got his feet. He's sitting up there and he got his whole body turned towards the inside looking at me, and he's pressing. Man, we about to fly. We about to hit a fly route.
Swim move down the sideline. There it is.
There it is.
It's not in the NFL. It's not rocket science, and they want to make it. All these scouts and all these coaches want to make it like it's rocket science, and it's not. These are athletes out here playing football with instinct.
Mm-hmm.
Make it work. Make it work.
Yes, sir.
Make it work.
I want to tie this in before we actually get to this actual game. You had mentioned the 49ers earlier, and I wanted to actually tie this rebuild and compare it to the 49ers. When the 49ers got rid of it was the year before when they fired Hallback, they played one more year and they kind of bench Kaepernick, and they really was trying to tank that year. And then that end of the season, they said, hey, we're not gonna renew you. And they went into tank mode. And think about they got the pick for Mitch when we moved up that next year because it looked like they was on a quarterback, but they actually didn't get a quarterback. They brought in Jimmy G into free agency. Then the next year, I think they got 4 picks for us for Mitch. And then they did something in 2018. And then in 19, I want to say, if my memory is correct, they were in the Super Bowl.
Right.
And they lost. I want to say they lost to KC. Yeah, because in
What?
2020, I want to say Tampa won that the COVID year with Tom Brady. I may be
Mm-hmm.
off a year or
Mm-hmm.
so, but that team with those first round picks, they were able to rebuild fast, speed up their table, right? And if you look at the core of that team, most of those guys have been in that team, what, 5 or 6 years or less. So I bring that up to talk about the Bears that we may get impatient, but this may be a ideal situation because you didn't hit 2 first round picks. You got 2 next year. You could be in a position where you got, I don't know, it depends on how the Bears do, but if the Panthers go down that road, you could be in a position where you actually are number one and you don't want a quarterback where you could probably maybe move to 2, right? But get another first round pick and your team is set.
The Bears are in a prime position because even if the Bears have a winning season and the Panthers have a losing season, we still get their pick. So whether it be 1, 2, or 3, because the Panthers are not good.
Mm-hmm.
They are not a good team.
Mm-hmm.
So even if they bottom out 1, 2, or 3, we still got a top 3 pick, and we still got our own pick. Now, if they decide Justin Fields is going to be the guy, which I hope they do, because I
I do
think
too.
Justin can be the guy. I really
Mm-hmm.
do.
I do, yeah.
Now you're in a position to trade that pick if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Trade that pick and get multiple picks for next year because you still got 2 number ones.
Right.
You still got 2 number ones. So you can trade one of your number ones and still have 2 number ones and then get something else on the back end. So now we talk about the future. So we talk about 2024, 2025. You can add. And what I want fans to understand is people talk about a rebuild. A complete rebuild takes at least 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
As bad as I'm a season ticket holder, and I'm telling y'all, it's pitiful.
Mm-hmm.
I was that Denver game that we lost. You could have heard a pin drop in that stadium at the end of that game because it's like Bears fans literally are at games to win, and they are so passionate. The energy around Soldier Field, and the Bears haven't won jack since what 2006, 2007. They haven't won jack,
Mm-hmm.
but the
Mm-hmm.
energy that the fans bring, they have a fan base that's like no other. And just to suffer through the losing has been a lot. But if y'all need to understand, a rebuild is really like 3 years. It's real a real rebuild is like 3 years.
See, Jay, that showed that we have not been used to the Bears rebuilding. We've seen them do some.
Patchwork. Everything has been patchwork.
Yep.
Everything has been patchwork. You sign to Julius Peppers, and he comes in and helps you win. You sign all these guys, and then you come in and you mediocre.
Yeah.
That's what it is. We have as Bears fans, it's been mediocrity for us, and as Bears fans, we go along with that because all we want is a winning team. But to have a total, I don't care. I can't tell you when the last time the Bears had a total rebuild. I can't tell you the last time.
Yeah, it would have to go back to the 80s, Jay. And when I mentioned the 49ers, is you get better by having picks, not giving them away. And if you go, and I'm gonna start with Jay Cutler. Okay, you gave up picks to get Jay Cutler. Okay, now the problem with that is you didn't have all the tools for
Right.
him to play. So now you like, okay, he got to live through this with, your line not that good. They're getting old at this point. You don't have a receiver. Then the patchwork starts, right? You
Yep.
say, okay, let's get this, you get this.
Yep.
Okay, then you say, okay, this didn't really work. So all these guys and got old, Erlach and all that. They just reset and just start this all over. Then you do with Mitch, which ended up being the worst move in the world because you was in the perfect position. You could draft 3. You had 3 guys to choose from. You gave up more picks, and you actually had the same thing. You had some pieces missing, and then if you turn around and you got Mac the next year, then you gave up some more first round picks.
Yep.
And all these people are aging, and then you
Yep.
had to do the same thing. You got the Justin Fields, right? You gave up more picks, but if you look at that time frame, you can't even name the number 1 picks other than I would say Roquan may have been the only one they had that kind of, and it was Justin now that's still around because they didn't have picks, or when you got those misses like Adam Shaheen, right?
Adam
Now
Shaheen.
on that,
What's the linebacker name? What's the linebacker name? That went to the Rams and had success.
Leonard Floyd.
You know, all these people, you know, that you drafted that it just didn't work out. But it was like you said, piecing stuff together. Like we drafted Mitch, and then they was like, "Ooh, we're gonna give a boatload of picks to the Raiders, and we're gonna get Khalil Mack." Well, yeah, you got Khalil Mack. You went to the playoffs, but you still didn't win anything. So now those picks are gone.
Yeah,
you know, so. It's been a lot of shuffling with the Bears organization, and I commend Poles for like, okay, you know what? We're gonna tear this down for real. We're gonna have $85 million in dead cap space in the year 2022. $85 million in dead cap space we're gonna have, but I'm gonna get this franchise its draft picks back, and then I'm gonna draft accordingly. So that's where we at. And fans, I'm sorry, it doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah,
we got a great start though, because I'm gonna tell you that trade that he got, and we got DJ Moore. People need to understand how big that was. We got a number 1 wide receiver and a first round draft pick, and now we got 2 picks for next year. That was a big trade, but it's gonna take more than a season to turn this around.
Yeah, Jay, as we approach this Vikings game, and we look at Justin is trending upward and DJ Moore, and this show how fickle we are as fans. 2 weeks ago, there was a pass to DJ Moore, and I remember people were, not everybody, but some of the people was like, "Oh man, he made that drop." I say, "Man, they ain't but one drop, man. Everybody gonna drop one." But was people ready to almost was on the verge of running them out of town on that one drop about, I think, 3 games ago or something, where it was a drop.
Yeah, that was against the Chiefs where we was already down 30 points. So him making that catch and the touchdown, that was just padding his stats.
Right.
He dropped the ball. He dropped the ball. So, but I'm gonna tell you, I told y'all I won, and I'm still, as much as I like Justin and I want Justin to succeed, if he's able to play his game, I'm all in on Justin. But if they trying to continue to make him a pocket passer, he's not going to succeed here. And before they changed their philosophy, I was like, okay, you know what? Justin ain't the guy. I'm not willing to admit that. I was saying Justin ain't the guy. But if y'all gonna let this kid play and let him play, he is the guy. Because as an Ohio State fan, I've seen what this kid can do. This dude threw 6 touchdowns with a broken rib in college. I've seen what he can do. So I'm all in, and I'm just hoping that they continue to do whatever it is that they've done over the last 2 weeks to make this offense successful. Because this offense, I've never said this about a Bears offense before, even when Cutler, Brandon Marshall, Forte, Marcus Bennett, Alshon Jeffrey, when them guys was here, that was an explosive offense.
Yeah, it was.
That was an explosive offense. But this offense, once you can include Mooney, who really ain't even got started yet, this could be an explosive offense.
Yeah, Jay. So I do see that happening in this game with the Vikings. If the Bears come out and play their offense and Justin Fields gets comfortable early on, see, a lot of stuff was contingent on how Justin Fields actually played the position and how if they took him out of that box and just say, play, dude, play.
Mm-hmm.
And him just accept that, dude, you're the leader of this team. This team is going to go so far. The more he complete those passes, uh, especially the deep balls, it gets those 8 men out of the box, right? Because
Absolutely.
a lot of the sacks and stuff too are generated because teams were daring you to throw the
To
ball.
throw the ball.
So they playing close to the line of scrimmage, even though sometimes they might only rush 3. They still was within the 5 or 7 yard radius of the line of scrimmage. And they like, we daring you. We don't believe you could complete anything deep. See, that film last week with DJ Moore and the week before, they got the Vikings like, whoa. The
Because I'm gonna
Bears
tell you,
actually getting 300 yards, 4 passing touchdowns. Whoa.
because I'm
Right?
gonna tell you, I expect Mooney and what's the rookie name? Scott.
Scott.
I expect them to eat this week. They gonna eat this week because now everybody like, okay, DJ Moore, he looked like he's the real deal. So now we're gonna have to shade some coverage towards him. And Fields missed Mooney a couple of times last week. He missed him a couple of times last week. So I'm expecting Scott and Mooney to eat this week for real. Because we playing against the Vikings defense who they play a lot of cover too, but they do blitz a lot. They do. I think they 4th or 5th in the league
in blitzing,
as far as blitzing. So Justin is going to feel some pressure, but the way this offensive line, all we got to do is get Braxton Jones back because we got 4 to 5. Larry Borum is the Achilles heel right now.
Right.
Once we get Braxton Jones, because Nate Davis showed last week that he's a baller.
Yeah.
If anybody want to look at the tape, go put the tape on and watch Nate Davis. Nate Davis, he showed his posterior to use a good word on TV or on film or on YouTube. He showed his posterior last week. This dude is a blocker, and Darnell Wright and with Whitehair back at center, Tevin Jenkins. To me, he is the glue to this offensive line because I don't know if people watched, but once he came in the game, it was almost like everybody got nasty. Tevin Jenkins is nasty, and it was almost like everybody feeds off of his nastiness, and that's what I saw last week. And man, this Bears team, this offensive line, if they can get everybody back and they cohesive, they got something going.
Okay. Hey, I'd like to thank everybody who's watching us tonight on YouTube and Facebook. And if you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification notice so you would get the notification of whenever we load up new material. Hey, Jay, I believe the Bears offensive line is a whole lot better than what general fans get them for, because people saw a lot of sacks. They just think, oh, poor blocking, etc. Jay, I think one of the improvements I think we're going to see too is Cody Whitehair might not be great and he needs to work on some of his snaps, but his ability to identify where the pressure is coming from, he knows how to play the position.
Absolutely.
Could not do it. I would actually, if I had to choose between him and Mustafa, I would have choose Mustafa because Mustafa is working hard.
I'm sorry, Bernard, to cut you off, but what people also need to realize is that last week Cody started at guard,
Yeah.
It came in and played center.
Yeah.
So he didn't have no snaps during practice with Bernard. So I'm actually with Justice. So I'm actually thinking it's going to be a little better this year. I mean, a little better this week, just because he's at center this week, and so now he's practicing at center. He had a couple of snaps that was off. But I think it's going to be a little better this week, just because now he's in that position. And Lucas Patrick, he's in concussive protocol. I wish him well, and I hope he get better, but I don't want to see him on the field again.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't either. I mean, for those who may not know what we're talking about as far as identifying the pressure, for those who haven't played football, not familiar with, the center comes out at some point, and he may say this person is the mic, or the quarterback may identify who the mic is. That helps the line identify who each person is going to block. And sometimes the mic, when they identify, is not necessarily the person who's labeled as the middle linebacker. The mic could be somebody else that they identify. But anyways, telling the people how to slide their protection. So I used to be sometimes wondering, like, until recently, I wouldn't see nobody identifying the mic. I was like, well, it was just so many things. I was like, man, why are they not doing this, right? Like, okay, who's actually calling the protection? But anyway, let me move on. I know time is ticking on it. So Justin Jefferson is out for what, 4 weeks for sure?
Yes, he's on IR, so he's definitely out for 4 weeks at least.
Jay, I believe
the Bears got lucky. I don't wish injury on nobody, but the Bears got lucky.
Jay, I believe this is going to be a good thing for the Bears defensive backs. This gives them a chance to recover from some of they've been having some rough spots. When I say rough spot, a lot of injuries, just a lot of injuries. And I know people were talking about them, and I know I've been getting text messages about different people. You still have to give them credit, because as they was down to third string guys, and they still only gave up 20 points last week.
Man, look, Greg Stroman had an interception last week where he looked like he was a starter. Eberflus was looking around for people like, hey, I'm sending a blitz. Who available? That's just how beat up the Bears were last week. He was like, okay, what's your name? Oh, you came off the practice squad. Come in here. You're at the corner. I want you to blitz. So they held their own last week, and it was a good thing to see, though, because it was almost like we needed this win. And not only did they win, but they came out and dominated. And you have to give the team credit. You have to give Eberflus credit. These guys that they elevated from the practice squad came in, and they actually did a good job. And now that you got your regulars coming back, it should be a little bit better. Because to me, right now, if we get Gordon, Jalen Johnson, and Eddie Jackson back this week, still implement the same game plan. Because in order to get Kirk Cousins uncomfortable, you got to get him off his spot. Yeah. And to get him off his spot and make him uncomfortable without his number one wide receiver, that would be a big thing.
Yeah. So in this game, I would like to see the Bears, like what you just said, do what they've been doing the last two games. I know they gave up 20. Hold on, they lost the other game 31-28. Okay, so I know there was a turnover that turned into a touchdown, but other than that, they gave up about 24, which is a lot of points. But other than that, I would like to see the Bears continue to bring pressure and to show pressure at the line of scrimmage, and whenever is needed, to not be stubborn and stay in zone. And if they have to place a man, especially with Justin Jefferson out, if you got to play man a little more, play man a little more. And I believe this game, with Justin Jefferson being out and the Bears getting back some of their starters on defense, I think we see a defense that start gelling. We getting some of our offensive guys. I'm actually going with the Chicago Bears in this game to win this game, Jay. I got to think of my score. I haven't came up with a score yet. You got anything yet, Jay?
Yeah, I'm picking the Bears 31-24.
31-24. Okay.
31-24, because I'm gonna tell you, Justin Jefferson is out, but I don't want the Bears to get too comfortable because the Vikings have a rookie, Jordan Addison. Y'all know I'm all about wide receivers. I'm all about wide receivers. Jordan Addison is a playmaker. He is definitely a playmaker. So he's gonna get the Lions. He's gonna get the Lions share of what Justin Jefferson was gonna get. But I'm looking for the Bears to win this game. I know I take the score back because I forgot. I take the score back because the weather is going to be a factor. It's supposed to rain. It's supposed to rain Sunday, so the field is going to be stopped. Okay. So I'm actually gonna digress my score from 31-24 to 24-13.
Okay, 24-13. Okay, I'm glad you said that about the rain. I'm gonna go Bears 21, the Vikings 15. I see, brother Talib said 30. Hold on, was that Talib? No, that's somebody else scores 31-21, Minnesota. Oh no, this says hold on 31.
No, I say Bears 31, Minnesota 21.
Okay, then what we have here? Talib said,
he said Jordan Anderson may not play either.
Oh wow.
If that happens, that's big. He's on the injury report as questionable. Wow, thanks to Lee. I appreciate that.
Yeah, because I didn't get a chance.
So that means what's that kid's name? I can't think of that kid's name. That means he's gonna be the number one receiver. I can't think of that kid's name right now. But if Jordan Addison don't play, that's big. That's big.
So hey, Johnson, did Rashawn Johnson clear concussion protocol?
Nope. He didn't clear. He didn't practice. Khalil Herbert didn't practice. But I'm okay with the running game because Dante Foreman, who I said earlier during preseason before the regular season started, like they might cut Deontay Foreman because they signed him and he hasn't played.
Right.
But we need him now. Yeah. And he's capable of carrying the load. And once we talked about it in the text, Guy was like, oh, yeah, he's going to punish some defense. He's a punishing runner, and I like him. So, bad ankle limited in practice today. Wow, that's big. That's big. So I'm not really worried about the running game. Deontay Foreman is he's capable of shouldering the load. You know, he almost ran for 1,000 yards last year after Carolina traded McCaffrey to the 49ers. He became the starter in Carolina. So I'm not really worried about the running game. But that's some big information Talib just gave us that Jordan Addison is questionable. Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Bernard. And now I'm thinking, I was hearing on the radio say, like, you know, what if Minnesota wind up trading Kirk Cousins, and then now they tanking. Now they tanking for Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they gave away a boatload of players during this offseason anyway.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like they was in, you know, they wasn't competing. So now.
So Jay, that's why I was saying that pick at number 1, if Carolina keep going down this road, that pick could be something, right? Where you could just move one slot. Right?
Yeah.
You can move one of Marvin Harrison. You could go from 1 to 2, but get a good, healthy bounty coming back. Because if they go down this road, you may have the Vikings looking for a quarterback. You may have the Cardinals looking for the quarterback. The Patriots, I seen somebody mention them earlier. The Patriots look like they totally lost. There's been some rumors that this may be his last dance, or getting close to it, because
the Patriots they gave up 78 points in the last 2 weeks. Man, they've been outscored 78-3 in the last 2 weeks. That's big.
Right. Yeah, and you got a couple of other teams who is just not it's just not looking good for him because I definitely think the Cardinals are headed towards that road of giving up on Kyler Murray. And
Oh, they already have. They already.
Mhm.
It doesn't even matter to me. I think on the blowout. Wow. Okay. I hear you, Talib.
Mhm.
but to me, the Cardinals have already gave up. They already gave up. It's over. Kyler
Mhm.
Murray and with the contract and all. The sad thing about it is they're gonna have to find somebody to take their contract, and
Mhm.
I don't know if they're gonna be able to do it. They probably gonna
Mhm.
eat a lot of money on that
Mm.
contract.
Okay. Yeah, they probably are gonna have to do it. They actually looking like they in a similar situation like the Seattle was with Russell Wilson,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
where they ended up keeping him one extra year because they just didn't want to take that much dead cap space, and nobody else was gonna take it. So I think that first year they was trying to get rid of. That was the year we were talking about. I think it was around 39 million in dead cap space. I was like, no, we can't do that. And nobody was like, oh no, we don't want that.
And this Facebook user talking about Kirk Cousins has no trade. Yeah, he does. He has a no trade clause. But if I was Kirk Cousins, and I'm gonna tell y'all, if I was the Jets, just hear me out. Although they just traded for Aaron Rodgers, if I was the Jets, I would be trying to call Minnesota to get Kirk Cousins. I really would because Kirk Cousins is at the end of his contract. This is the final year of his contract, so he's basically would be a rental. With the Jets defense and a competent quarterback with the weapons that they have, Kirk Cousins, I believe, could take the Jets to the playoffs and possibly to a Super Bowl, at least in contention. At least in contention.
Yeah. Hey, Jay, and it is possible, especially when guys change addresses. If you think about it, we saw it with Matt Stafford constantly, where he would have these mistakes right down the stretch. I mean, it with Detroit, he would start the season off great, then right down near the stretch, all of a sudden he would have these multiple turnover games, and he would play bad enough most times to so they wouldn't make the playoff. Okay, he got in, he got into the Rams, and he gets Super Bowl the first year. And I guess the amazing thing was, I think in that Super Bowl, he was trying to go down that road.
Right.
He was trying to go
Right.
down that road.
But if the Jets want to salvage their season, they would try to trade for Kirk Cousins, man. Because I'm telling you, man, it's the Jets defense is legit, and they offensive weapons that they got over there, they legit. They just Zach Wilson just ain't the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And Robert Saleh can continue to go down this line and be like, Zach Wilson is our quarterback. But guess what? If y'all lose this week, y'all out of contention. Without a quarterback, y'all out of contention. And they are gonna, I forgot who they playing, but they're gonna lose. I already picked them to lose this week. The Jets are gonna lose this week. So that's the NFL is a gamble. It's a gamble. And like I said, even though do we know Aaron Rodgers is gonna come back next year? Probably just because he's Aaron Rodgers and he like, I'm not gonna go out like this. But if you can get a rental in Kirk Cousins to come and play and possibly get y'all to the playoffs in the AFC, it's worth a shot. It's worth a
Yeah,
shot. They got the cap space, they got the money, they can do it.
yeah, Jay, because they would have to do something. Because if you look at that division, I'm trying to think of who's in that division. That's a tough division now because
You got Buffalo, Miami, the
Buffalo, Miami,
Jets, the
Jets, and
Buffalo, the Jets, Miami, and New England. Well, New England and a factor, but
your name's not a factor, right?
but you got the Miami and Buffalo.
Yeah.
You got Miami and Buffalo. And if you
Mm-hmm.
look at the AFC, you got Miami and Buffalo. Then you got in the North, you got Pittsburgh and
Pittsburgh,
Baltimore.
the Ravens, and
And then you
Cleveland
got the
kind of,
Cleveland is out. They out
yeah,
of it already because
yeah.
Deshaun Watson he hurt. And ain't no telling when he coming back. He's already hurt. And then you got the AFC South. You got Jacksonville, who they struggling, and when they struggling to play against teams like Indianapolis. So the AFC is up outside the Chiefs is the only team in their division because San Diego, the Los Angeles Chargers, they are who they are. Every Sunday late evening we watching them. They trying to come back. That's what they are. Then you got the Chiefs, you got Denver, and you got the Raiders. So the New York Jets could actually be in this hunt if they had a quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great point Facebook used about the New York media. Yeah, the New York media is rough.
You gotta have tough skin. You gotta have tough skin to play in New York. But I think Kirk can handle it. I think Kirk can handle that though. I think Kirk can handle that. I'm just saying, if the Jets want to save their season, they need to trade for Kirk Cousins.
And then it'll just be a short thing, and they may view him as if he wins something right away, he may be more held as a hero, and they may go light on him because they know he's just trying to get them through.
I'm just trying to help y'all. Trying to help y'all.
Yeah, right.
I'm just trying to help y'all. And then to get Kirk Cousins out of the division, I'm all for it anyway.
Right.
Not that dude. He just a get paid dude. He doesn't care about a Super Bowl. He's just more comfortable. They have to go and just come on, man. I'm just saying. Ain't anything about Kirk Cousins wanting to win the Super Bowl. It's about if the Jets want to win a Super Bowl. That's all.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I digress.
You put too much. I mean, of course they didn't think the quarterback would get hurt, Aaron Rodgers, but you put a whole lot into that this year, and your defense was even good last year. But your quarterback is just having a hard time. But you know what? I don't care about their quarterback. All I care about if our quarterback is
right. I'm actually glad they drafted Zach Wilson and left Justin Fields for us, because that was a bonehead move on their part. So I'm okay with that.
Okay, hey, we're gonna wrap up in a minute. What that say? How about the Jets take?
I'll cut it out. Kyler Murray, man, don't nobody want the little man. Kyler Murray was overdrafted to begin with. Overdrafted to begin with. Don't nobody want that little man.
Yeah. You know what? And it still shows that it's tough playing that position if you're under 6 feet tall. But if you are going to be under there, you need to be a workhorse. You cannot absolutely rely on talent if you undersized. You have to be dedicated to your craft. And he just seems to be a guy that's just not dedicated to his craft. I mean, anytime they write a contract initially and they trying to put in there, you need to study game film or whatever it was.
Game film for 2 hours a day.
Right. And I know they walked it back eventually, but they don't do that if they really thought you were actually committed to doing what you're supposed to. And I think Christian had pointed out earlier that he was just kind of overrated and he didn't really trust some of Lincoln Riley's quarterbacks, and I agree with him.
And just to piggyback off of that, the bottom line is people don't understand the draft is a crapshoot.
Mm-hmm.
The draft is a crapshoot. And, I still go back to the most current thing. In 2017, when the Bears drafted Mr. Trubisky, and this is Bernard, I swear this is the last time I'm going to say this on this broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
When the Bears drafted Mr. Trubisky, he was the number 1 rated quarterback in that draft class. People don't understand that. It's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
He was number 1. Patrick Mahomes was 5th on that list. He was 5th on the list. He had the kid from Notre Dame in front of him.
Who was that? Kaiser?
Thank you. Deshaun Kaiser was in front of. He's not even in the league no more.
No.
Deshaun Watson was 2nd. I can't remember who the 3rd guy was. But Patrick Mahomes was 5th on the list. It's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
Ryan Pace thought he was doing the smartest thing in the world. Like, I'm finna draft the number one quarterback rated in this thing. And look, he's a career backup. He's a career backup. Patrick Mahomes is a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer already, and his career ain't even over. It's a crapshoot, and people don't understand that. People are like, oh, they made a mistake. Yeah, guess what? Then you put Patrick Mahomes on the Bears team right now, and he's not the same player. He went into the perfect situation, and now he's flourished. The draft is a crapshoot, man. Unless you got that, especially at the quarterback position. I remember years ago when they had that quarterback class that had Donovan McNabb and Achilles Smith, and all these guys went 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and all them guys. None of them really made it outside of Donovan McNabb.
Yeah, because I think Tim Couch was in that draft too.
Couch was thank you. Tim Couch was in that draft. Tim Couch was the greatest thing since sliced bread. He was the next great white hope. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. The draft is a crapshoot when it comes to quarterbacks. So I know I'm off script, but that's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's okay, Jay.
So people be talking about these quarterbacks, and I be like, if Patrick Mahomes had got drafted, he was throwing the guys like I can't even tell you who the wide receivers would have been at that time with the Bears. So it's really irrelevant. He went to the perfect situation, and I'm happy for Patrick Mahomes because he sat a year behind Alex Smith, who was the number one draft pick, who really didn't pan out until he got to Kansas City. He was another guy that got drafted in front of Aaron Rodgers. It's a crapshoot. People just don't understand how it's difficult. It's difficult. Yeah. And people can say making mistakes all day long, but do they make mistakes? Yeah, they do. But did we know this talent was going to be this talent? No. So,
yes, sir. Hey, thanks, Jay, and thank everybody who tuned us in tonight. We'll see you Sunday in the post game. Peace.
Peace.